Good morning, you guys. It's Crystal from the Abundantly Blessed Homestead, where we use the wisdom of our ancestors to make amazing, nourishing, delicious meals for our family and grow some of our own food. Today it's early in the morning, and it's a requested video for a garden tour. So let's go get started. So just a little warning, just like I had my little warning last time, there's going to be weeds in here, you guys. I'm a mama of 5, for those of you who don't watch this channel, so I do the best I can with my garden, but there are going to be weeds, and for those of you who garden already, you guys have weeds too. Just admit it, right? Okay, let's look. Alright, so the first thing that is growing these are bush beans. I'm waiting for them to start crawling up this trellis. They have started here. And then on this side we do have a whole bunch of cucumber plants that I've been getting cucumbers off of and making good morning pox. That I've been making pickles with. I do have a video up about how to do that. And then we still have our herbs and such. This is oregano and thyme down here, and this is a bunch of naturally occurring plant weeds. This is lemon basil. This was a row of peas, but it's just gotten too hot, so those have kind of fallen down. And the lamb has eaten them, so they're looking kind of rough. These are more pole beans. My drip line isn't getting enough water to this end, so it's just something I'm going to have to look into and fix. But they're starting to climb up the fence here, so that's good. Then we have a couple of rows of onions, which got knocked over in the storm, so a lot of them, my goodness, a lot of them unfortunately are done growing. The ones that didn't get knocked over, I went ahead and trimmed up again. So hopefully they'll keep on going. And this side also has the beans. And then we have the start of our tomato phenomenon and a cat on top of my greenhouse. Okay, so these are all tomato plants. It's kind of like a forest in here, guys. And a little bit of dill here. And same thing on this side. A whole bunch of tomato plants in here. They are planted only like 12 inches apart, so it's a pretty dense forest. More onions, and then down the center we have cabbages. I built this cabbage box, I'm affectionately calling it, out of scrap lumber and an old screen door screen. And I absolutely love it, you guys. It allows enough light for the cabbages to flourish into it. Even with these are 2x12s. It's just what I had on hand. You could do much lower, but it's nice for it to be high so that those heads can come on the cabbages and have room to grow. And then the screen obviously keeps out bugs, insects, moths, worms, all that stuff, but allows rain, and if I wanted to fertilize them, I can pour it right through the screen. So it was a great invention. In the back, I have a tree growing right here. I cannot seem to get rid of the tree. So anyway, we just keep chopping it down. And there's more cabbages inside this tent. But like I said, I actually like this better than the tent, so I'm planning on building another one of these for next year. This is the other side of the tomatoes. It's like a double row of tomatoes growing up on a fence. And then we have several rows here of bush beans. And the same on this side. We have our naturally native weeds here. That's a good selection. That's actually lamb's quarter, so it technically isn't a weed. It's an edible plant. But then we have something eating my pepper plants I'm seeing this morning. But these are all peppers. They're kind of buried. Pepper, couple of eggplants. They are kind of buried, though, by the tomatoes. If I had to guess what's eating my peppers, it's probably going to be grasshoppers. It's a very, very bad drought here, you guys. So we've got locusts and grasshoppers. So I've continually had to cover my garden in diatomaceous earth just for my plants to survive. Okay, then over here there's several rows. These are Roma tomatoes here. And then on the other side of that row is actually peppers. They go all the way down. I've got some peppers on the plants themselves. And this is the same duplicate planting thing here, where we have Roma tomatoes on this side and then peppers on this side. And more lamb's quarter. And I suppose if I were to come out and pull all the lamb's quarter, the grasshoppers wouldn't live here as much, but they just do. So haven't gotten around to it. This is actually all potatoes. I think I showed you guys that before. They have fallen over or blown over, so they don't really look that impressive. And same thing on this side. It's a mix of weeds. The weeds are mostly standing up, which we need to just come out and pull them. And then the tomato plants have laid on over. This is a double row of pepper plants. They're looking really, really good. And then this huge row of cherry tomatoes. And then there are pepper plants planted along the base of them. So everything's growing really well. It's just a matter of getting out here and weeding. This is a double row of Roma tomatoes, which was a mistake. I probably won't do that again. They have really bushed out this year just due to my drip system and them getting plenty of water. So I just have this tiny little walkway to fit in between the cherry tomatoes and the double row of Romas in order to harvest all of these. So it's going to be kind of a wild year, but we're going to make it work. So, hi, Teddy. Okay, and then the last thing in the garden itself are melons. I don't remember what anything is over here. There's some watermelon over here. I just weeded this area last week, so it actually looks pretty good. And then over here, same story. This is squash. This is the squash side. So those are growing well as well. This is a Anaheim chili or green chili plant. Looks like it's got some chilies. It's about time to harvest. Okay, so as you guys can see, not much has changed on the greenhouse. It's just kind of chilling there. We've gone on to other projects, so the hope is to have the plastic on by this fall so I can utilize, obviously, growing in it. I have my main row here of indeterminate tomatoes. Growing along here, they are strung up so they will grow to the ceiling of the greenhouse. I am curious to see how long the tomatoes will grow into the fall. These are the tomatoes that have the, if you guys watched my live, that have the hornworm. So now I'm constantly coming out here checking for hornworms, pulling them off and feeding them to the chickens. I don't see any, obviously, this morning yet, I don't think. I'd be shocked if I got them all. I've already pulled off several. I think we're getting close to 20 at this point, so. So that's that side. And then on this side, this is my box of weeds here. This actually has walking onions in it, but we harvested them so much from their tops that they kind of gave up this year and went back down into their roots. So they'll be back next year, but it has been taken over, obviously, now by grass. And then this is my, this is all new since my last tour. These are all culinary herbs. This is horseradish. But then we've got parsley, we've got cilantro, we've got oregano, and then rosemary. And I went ahead and put all my drip systems in underneath the mulch, so they're all doing really, really good. We have some voluntary dill, which I love. I know a lot of people are like, don't let that grow up inside your greenhouse because it'll take over, but I don't mind pulling them next year when they take over. I just love having dill just voluntarily pop up and be able to use it to make dilly stuff. So this is a big patch of Italian basil. I just harvested it yesterday. It got really big. Then we have 4 mint plants and some weeds that really need to be pulled. It's just been so hot, you guys. I can't see coming out here. I started 2 more zucchini plants to put inside the greenhouse. See how long we can grow zucchini. Another voluntary dill. And these were all are all tomato plants along the back here. Right there. And a kitty that wants attention. And these were all plants that came off of my indeterminate plants that were suckers. So they all grew into plants. So that's kind of fun this year. And behind me, we're still in the tomato section. As you can see, the dripper lines are laid down for in here. This is these 2 beds actually are going to be my primary winter growing area. I'm going to be planting some carrots and stuff like that can kale. What else? Beets. Anything that can loves the cold weather. I'm going to start planting that so that when we get the plastic on, we can continue our garden through the winter. Okay, over here are some much neglected pepper plants. They do have peppers on them. I say neglected because I don't really pay attention to them much. So there they are. And then through here we have approximately, I think there's 20 or 22 watermelons. This is all on my drip line. So it works really, really well because, oh, there's a hornworm right there. You guys see it? That sucker. I'm going to have to pull him off. All right. Anyway, the drip line works extremely well because I only have to just switch it on and off. And then this bed I built myself out of, once again, scrap lumber from building our homes, our home. We use 2x12s for our construction lumber for framing up our foundation. Well, our slab, actually. Slab and foundation. So they were just kind of sitting around and needed to be used or discarded. So I used them to build this nice little lavender planter. So I've got, I think, 8 lavender plants in there. And they've got, some of them have flowers. And they smell absolutely gorgeous. So. Alright, you guys, that's what's growing in my garden, on my farm, in my greenhouse. If you guys like this update video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for being around, and thanks for commenting and creating a community with me here. You guys take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.